Just a quick pump day workout on my chest today. So a lot of people kind of bash on pulleys, and they have a purpose, they have a place. It's one of the things is being able to get different force vectors on the muscle. So particularly, let's talk about the chest. I'm training, working on those man boobies today. So a lot of people just train the chest in this pressing fashion, and they forget that it is actually a horizontal adductor of the shoulder, okay? So we're finished here. We actually haven't worked the chest through its full range of motion, which is over here. Now you can't mimic that with a fly because the weight is forcing this direction and it's not pulling it outwards as you reach the top. So this is a great way to use the pulley. Time for set 2 anyway, so let's get to it. So you don't want to stand too far away, because again, if I get way back here, then that force vector is much less outward. So I want to be fairly close, and I'm just going to do a press, but continue through. And at that end of the motion, you'll really feel that chest light up. What's cool is you can kind of do this as a drop set as well. I'll switch one hand over the other, like every rep or every 2 reps. And I'm gonna quit speaking because I'm gonna get winded here in a second. Now here's the mechanical drop set I talked about. I'm gonna go back to a pressing when I can just barely finish that last set. So I take out that last little bit of adduction because, I'm reaching my failure point. All right, so anyway, hitting 3 or 4 sets of failure here, doing a little BFR, and give me a couple minutes and we'll move on to the next exercise. I like to mix in some front delt work, and I may start with some really isolated stuff just to pre-fatigue, because again, it's pump day, before doing a pressing movement, like let's say an overhead pressing movement I wanted to. You'll notice I have a bit of rotation on here. This will not work with a dumbbell, but you can mimic this with a kettlebell. Even these, you'll notice I'm not letting them hang in my grip. I'm taking that weight and keeping it to my side so that as I come up, front raise, and then I have to engage to rotate it. You can do the same thing with a kettlebell. You have to hold the kettlebell with the bell pointing towards you. But this can really freaking target. Someone lit a fire in my shoulders. Oh, random static hold, because why not torture? Okay, so front delts again. Now, the last exercise really hit the peak of the contraction, especially with that rotation. You notice I'm actually behind the shoulder here. So we're able to engage the muscle all the way through, unlike if I was just doing a dumbbell or the movements I just was, where I'm not really engaged until I probably break at least 10 degrees in front of me. Here, I'm starting about 10 degrees behind me. So that's really what's gonna fatigue out on you. Whew. You see that front delt? You can even see it coming into play right there. Hopefully you can. Maybe that's just being optimistic, thinking I look shredded. Whew. Good times, a few more sets, and we got some more fun ahead. My addiction to ice. Got an ice maker in the office, of course, so when I first started dating my wife in Vancouver, BC, I'd fly up there and she didn't have ice, so she'd always have to prep ice for me in advance, because I'm just like, there's different types of ice too, mind you, so they have different crunch factors. Now we get into ice dissertation here. I've got the hollow center, which is really nice. It's breakable for chewing. The big ones, not so great, but the best is like the one little like pellet-sized nodules that come at like Sonic and a few other places. Now those cost extra money. That's like a $5,000 ice machine. So, because I've looked into it, It's a very sought after ice, mind you, and for a reason. You ever have a Sonic iced beverage, slushy style? Oh my gosh, you'll discover why if you haven't. So anyway, back to the story. She never understood like my passion for ice. And then, you know, after a year or two of being with me, she is now an ice fanatic as well. So it's just, you just gotta have trust the ice. The man behind this camera, he just moved buildings, and guess what? He misses the fact he doesn't have access to the Duff and Ice machine. Guaranteed he's over there laughing right now. Laughing with tears of sadness, that is. They'll see I do it with the quad fallouts and things like that, where it's actually us kind of pushing the range of motion. My muscles are burning right now, so being at that extent. And after the end of the set, while you've got that stretch, you also have another stretch with the pump, which is all that fluid in the muscle belly, stretching that fascial barrier, that sheath that goes around it, right? So you got one stretch, but then you got the other going. And the second one doesn't happen until you volumize that tissue, right? So now put both in at the end of that set. Bodybuilders know this stuff. There's some sort of terminology and training systems around it. Fucking simple. Just get to the end when you can't move anymore and just keep on it. But it only works in movements like that. Chest flies, another great one. Push-ups, baby. That's right. Straight up, old school push-ups. I tell you, how many people come into the gym and they're like, I want to Mitchell 405. I'm like, let's do push-ups. And they're not too enthused with that. But you'd be surprised how many people can't do push-ups well and how great of a movement it is. It's a press, just like a bench press, but it's closed chain. Has a huge impact on the shoulder. Anyway, I do these a lot. I do them at the end of my workout when I'm really fatigued. No BFR, I could do it with it, but usually I'm so fatigued. Now, in my pump workout, like I said, I could mix in overhead pressing, I could mix in I love incline with the Cadillac, lots of different stuff to hit those front delts, pecs, and maybe triceps a little more. So a lot of my stuff is time bound. So today I'm picking incline push-ups, which is by declining the upper body because we're upside down. And I like doing these with a deficit just because I do a lot of them. They get a little bit more of that upper shoulder delt in there. Oh, and just hang out down here sometimes. Oh yeah. Oh. Whew. Why would I do such a torturous thing? Oh. So I try to hit somewhere around 75, 100 reps, whatever it is, however many sets. So usually it's somewhere around 30, 20, 15, whatever. Whatever I can do as long as I'm pushing it, right? Because the reps are gonna vary based on how much rest I have in here, how much I killed myself beforehand, which is usually quite a bit. Did I mention something about 20 reps? Can I count the last one? I'm breathing hard. Some fatty's out of shape, my friend. So we're up to 50. So 75 is a good target today. 15 and 10 probably. You can always slow them down. Oh, make them harder, but we're not going to do that. Oh, maybe we are. I think 75 is money. One more set. Yeah, you can definitely feel doing this at that angle, that extra development or engagement in that upper delt. So again, it's a big timer saver for me. So I didn't have to do incline work. I didn't have to do overhead pressing today. And I pre-fatigued everything beforehand. So it's wham bam in the gym. And now I get to head home early and hang out with the wifey and the baby. Last set, that's right. My goal is to do 10 push-ups. All right, so I will probably finish with doing some extras kneeling if I freaking can. 10 push-ups, Bill. That's right, that's my goal. There's the part where we get up this way. Front way. And with that, chest pump day, version number 1 is over. Check in next time. Learn a few other tricks and trips along the way.